Hi guys, it's Adair Libbrecht here. Ifbb Bikini Pro. We're about 4 days post-show from the Toronto Pro Show, where I placed second in my second ever pro show. So super excited about that. We're here at Pure Muscle Fitness. We're about to get a glute and ham workout in. So I'm gonna take you along with that. I just finished my pre-HD Ultra. And then just mixed up my intra here, the watermelon flavor, my absolute favorite. But yeah, besides that, I mean, haven't really done one of these videos before, so this is a first for me. And I mean, let me know if you guys like it, and maybe we'll do some more. I've always been like into sports and like super competitive growing up. I did like competitive dancing, I did like aerial acrobatic stuff, so like fabrics, hoops, all that. And then I would say my second or last year of high school, I kind of started going to the gym, just like for fun, to stay in shape when I wasn't dancing. And then I started to really take it seriously probably 4 years ago, I'd say. More so training and like kind of just like learning about progressive overload, different exercises. And then I decided to compete this past year. January was when I finally decided I was gonna compete. I'd always kind of had an interest in it, but never thought that I could actually like go through with it and do it. So then when I finally did, and I just like fell in love with it. I was like, this is what I've been, you know, waiting for. Like, I love this. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into competing.
I'm a game changer. I'm a dream maker. I'm a rule shaper. I'm an earth shaker. I'm a standing fire.
This machine I've actually never tried before until today. Or yesterday. I think I gave it a try yesterday. I don't know, with hip thrusts I find really just like not going heavy is actually more beneficial, so you can feel the squeeze in your glutes. One of the cues that I really like is if you keep your chin tucked in and looking forward the whole time. A lot of people, when they're like thrusting down and then back up, they look up, and then you kind of lose that connection in your glutes. So if you actually look forward the whole time, I find it really, really helps. And like I said, like not as heavy, so you can really squeeze in the glutes. Those are kind of the ones that I like, or I found have worked the best for me. For hip thrusts, I actually normally do like minimum 4, because I need like usually 1 to 2 sets to kind of like get the feeling in my glutes and get that connection going. And then also just judging like how heavy I can go that day, because some days, you know, you're stronger than other days. So I usually use the first couple to kind of get my bearings on how I'm doing that day. And then I usually do like 4 to 5 sets, just so that I can really get those last few sets with the heavier weight. But for most exercises, I usually do 4 sets. 1 kind of warm up, and then 3 more intense ones. But I just really like hip thrusts, so sometimes I do like 5 or 6 sets. So right now, before the show, I was training 6 times a week. I usually do like a glute day, and then like a shoulder and a back day, and then I do glutes, hams, just a shoulder day, and then I've been doing just a shoulder day, and then another glute day. Then hamstrings and shoulders is my last day. And then I work in sometimes like triceps, biceps on one of those days, just a couple exercises here or there. So it kind of alternates like glute shoulders, and everything else mixed in. But I think I'll probably keep my training down to about 5 days a week coming into off season, just to give my body a little bit of a break, let it get some more recovery, rest. That way when I jump back into prep, I'm fully rested and ready to go. Yeah, so for this one that I really like is kind of think about it between a mix between like a good morning, but also like a squat. So you kind of hit your glutes and your hamstrings at the same time. And think of really like pushing your hips backwards and keeping your gaze like down, so following through with the movement. Yeah, and just not letting that go into like your lower back would be the main thing, because it's like really easy to do.
Are you ready for me? I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.
Yeah, I guess like basically I had always kind of like been into fitness and, you know, did my own research, and I had kind of people help me, like coach me in the past. And I went through like a really like a kind of yo-yoing almost diets of like a lot of cardio, not a lot of carbs, and like never really seeing the results that I wanted. So I signed up with Team Atlas as a lifestyle client, and it was funny because the plan that they gave me originally had so much more food than I was ever used to eating, and it scared me. Like I was like, this isn't gonna work, like I don't know what they're like talking about almost. So I actually didn't follow the plan for the first 2 months, and I was like, thought I could do it on my own and just whatever, all that. And then obviously it didn't work. So after that I kind of came back. I was like, okay, I'm ready to try it your way. Like I will eat all this food that like seems absurd to me, but I'm like willing to try anything, because I was just super fed up at the time. And then so I started following the plan as a lifestyle client, and like started to see really crazy results. And that's when James was like, you have such potential, you could go pro, like your shape is great, like you gotta compete. And I was like, no, like I couldn't do it. It's so hard, I don't think I'd be able to. Like I'd always been told that competing was so hard, and that like you have to diet, and I was always given the perception that it was like almost impossible to do. And then he just kind of kept pushing, and I was like, okay, fine, like I'll try it, like maybe I can do it, we'll see. And then so we started prep at the beginning of January, I guess that was. And then yeah, like my body responded really well, and like I kind of said earlier, like I fell in love with it, and it wasn't as hard as I was told that it was. Probably because I love it so much. But yeah, then we did my first show well, it was actually supposed to be in July of this year, my first show, but because of COVID, it got pushed back. So that's when we decided to do the President's Cup in Toronto in September. So I did that as my first show on the Friday, and then the Canadian Nationals was on Saturday. So I won on Friday the overall, qualified for Saturday, and then I did the Saturday Canadian Nationals, and I won the overall and won my pro card. It all happened so quickly, but it worked out in the end. It's still so surreal to me. Like you dream about it, and like I said, like I'd always been such a fan of the sport, so I'm like always thought it was so cool looking up to like all the pros, like people like Jen and Laura Lee, and just like being like, oh, I wish I could do that one day. And then like to actually be here and like living it out, it's just like such a dream come true to me almost. Like it just doesn't feel real. Like I don't think it's actually fully hit me yet, but it'll probably hit me in like a couple weeks when I'm just like sitting at home in bed. A year ago I was just in such a bad place mentally, physically, and just like didn't know who I was, what I wanted. And then when I decided to, you know, just go for it and not let the fear of holding me back, everything just changed. It's like, it was scary, but it was the best thing I could have ever done, and it all worked out, so. I think a lot of people always think like, oh, you were a dancer, posing must be so easy. It was not. Posing is like the hardest thing ever. But I think that it helped me with like the discipline almost, because I was so competitive. With dance, I was used to like a very rigid schedule and like needing to stay on point with everything, and you know, you're stretching and there's a lot of other like things that go into dance that you need to be on top of. So I think it definitely helped with that. And then I think also just being comfortable on stage, it helped with, because I'm used to, you know, being in front of a lot of people, having the lights on me. Like, I knew what that experience was like. So the first time I stepped on stage, it wasn't like a complete new experience. I was able to kind of pull from some of the tactics that I used to use in dance to kind of calm myself down, get myself ready for stage. So I think in those senses it definitely did. Yeah.
How often were you posing this year?
Oh gosh, I pose every single day. When I started prep the first week of January, I would pose probably about like 15-20 minutes every single day, and then as I got closer to show, I upped it, and right before a show I was probably posing like 3-4 times a day, just different parts of my posing. Like one time would be my check-ins where I would do my comparison practice, then like I would practice my routine at another point in the day, my walk at another point in the day, but like only for about 10 minutes. So it's not like I was doing hours and hours of it, but just like little bits here and there so that you're constantly practicing and getting that repetition. I think that really is the most beneficial way to do it.
Did Angeline coach you too with your posing, or? Yeah,
so I did. I started out with Claire, who taught me all the basics of posing, you know, how to walk, all the different poses, and then I graduated to Angeline, and then she kind of taught me my routine, and we worked on perfecting that and all the different aspects, my personality, bringing that out within my routine too. And then I did like intensive posing with Angeline for about at least 4 to 5 months, I would say, where I would every other day send her videos, and then she critiques me and sends me feedback, and I would practice the feedback. So I did a lot of work on my posing this year.
What was the hardest thing about posing, or what was like the best piece of advice that you got for you personally to work on?
I think for me the hardest part is just being like fluent and not making it look so robotic, because it's not natural. Like the poses that you do in bikini are not a natural way to bend your body, and it feels really unnatural. So the ability to make something that feels so unnatural look natural is really hard, and something that I like really had to work on this year. And like the best piece of advice that she ever gave me was to really just not think about it, because when you overthink it, that's when it kind of shows in your posing, that you're like thinking in your mind, oh, I need to twist this way, or I need to flex this, and it shows in the posing. Whereas if you just don't think about it, your body knows what to do, and it'll just do it, and it'll come off a lot like more natural that way. So that was probably like the best advice she ever gave me. I mean, I would love to qualify for the Olympia. I feel like after this past weekend, it kind of just showed me that, you know, if I put the work in and I keep at it, that my time will come, and it's definitely a goal that I can achieve, which is even crazy to say. So yeah, I think that's the next goal, is to qualify for the Olympia and be on that 2022 stage.
Do you and James kind of have a plan yet, or?
So I'm gonna take a little bit of an off season, I think. I'm not sure how long that's gonna be, but probably not too long, just because I don't really need to do any like growing or anything too serious to make changes to my physique. Just more so to give my body a rest, since I've been in prep all year. And then yeah, I think maybe early next year we'll start back up and hopefully try and secure a win to get me to the Olympia. So my feedback was I was still a little too lean, which was an issue that we had at Ben Weider. I dropped a lot of weight at Ben Weider and came in really, really lean, so I had to put some weight on for Toronto Pro, which I was able to do, but with the time, just wasn't enough time to put enough on, so I was still a little bit too lean. But besides that, it was just more so feedback about kind of like my suit color. They said that they'd like to see me with like a darker color maybe, and maybe try some different hair stuff out. So maybe like some straight hair rather than curled. Just more so like my overall look. And that just to keep my shape the same and fine tune everything else. Yeah. My first would be the Gluta HD I use. It helps with digestion and recovery after my workout. I put it in with my protein powder, the HD protein powder. That one's been like a really big game changer for me. And I take, the Vita every single day has also been a really big one. I find I used to get sick like a lot, especially in the winter time. And then I started like being religious with my vitamins, and like especially the Vita HD has just everything and anything you could want in a vitamin. So I noticed that like I didn't get sick this year during winter, and you know, I just felt better overall. So that's another big one that I would definitely recommend for people. And probably towards the end of prep, I would say the Sleep HD product really made a big difference. I was having like a super hard time sleeping at night, just, you know, with recovery and stuff. It's so crucial to get good sleeps. And then I started using the Sleep HD, and my sleeps were just so much better. I actually like fell asleep, stayed asleep, and got like a good night's rest. So I would say those are probably the three biggest impacts. And then like obviously pre-workout just is like, you need it to get through some of those hard days.
Favorite flavor?
I really like the sour gummy flavor. That one's my favorite. And then I also like the berry one because I like to mix it in with my intra sometimes for like a pump during my workout. So the berry kind of like goes with all the flavors. But the sour gummy is my favorite. You can follow me on Instagram. It's just Adair Libbrecht. And if you want to use my code to get any of the supplements for HD, it's also just Adair, A-D-A-I-R. So if you liked this video, definitely like let us know. Like, subscribe, add in the comments anything you know you'd like to know about me or see, or anything in the future that you would like me to post about. And yeah, just let us know how you liked this video.